Hello folks, a nice straight ahead view of the city we are in today. We have moved away from the Mississippi River area, the valley. We've moved a bit northeast. It's a different region than just some of the cities that we'll find along the riverbank. Today we are in, once again, an important city to the state of Mississippi. This, by the look of the structure behind us, go figure, it's the capital city. And we're looking at the historic Capitol building here in Jackson, Mississippi, capital of the Magnolia State. Not only is Jackson, Mississippi the capital of Mississippi, the state, where you're gonna find all these government workers, officials, bureaucrats headquartered here, it's also the most populous city in the whole state. Although, I will say, with a population that's steadily declining, only around 150,000, that's the biggest city, that's not really doing Mississippi any favors, is it? Aside from that, it's also a commercial center. A lot of trade happens here. The history of Jackson centers around trade. I mean, it was founded to be a trading post as the French explored this area and met the native people, the Natchez, the Choctaw, who were living here. So they set up a trading post along the Pearl River nearby Jackson. And the Pearl River isn't part of the Mississippi Basin. It flows into the Gulf of Mexico from the northern part of Mississippi. It's its own separate entity. Nevertheless, the Pearl River acted as a waterway to and from which the French could conduct their trade here in Mississippi. And then when the Americans acquired these lands and later adopted Mississippi as a state in the early 1800s, this general area was rather frontier. Natchez was the original capital, as we explained yesterday, but Jackson was then declared the new state capital, so the state could have a more centralized means of controlling the area. Jackson was named after Andrew Jackson, who we now know as the 7th President of the United States, 1829 to 1837. At the time of Jackson's founding as this capital city, Jackson was revered as a war hero before anything else. He served as general in the War of 1812, and after what happened, well, Andrew Jackson was a popular figure. Now, looking around the downtown of this area, you'll notice, compared to a lot of the southern cities we've been to that have had this old antebellum architecture, why is Jackson, Mississippi without any old architecture, really, of any sort? Now, at the end of the Civil War, two things happened to many of these southern cities. If a city was lucky, made a negotiation with the Union, their city was spared, and that's why in many of these places we've gone to on our southeast tour, we've seen the old antebellum architecture. Sadly though, Jackson was not one of those, and it fell into the latter category of being one of the majority of southern cities that just got completely wiped out. It was sieged for about a week and later destroyed, and that's why we don't see any of this antebellum architecture around us. It's just a lot of these buildings that were constructed a lot afterward. So although we are in the deep south, Jackson looks as modern as any old modern city, or northern city for that matter. All the skyscrapers, either Art Deco or very glassy modernistic style of architecture. So sadly, no antebellum architecture here in Jackson. Whoa! What's this dome looking thing? Let's go check that out. Let's go walk towards it. Wow, Mississippi, you're really showing off with this Capitol building. I mean, if you can see it up top, on top of the dome, there is this golden eagle being nested. So everyone can see throughout, I guess, this Capitol District area, just how impressive this building is. People generally think of Mississippi as a very backward state, and You know, there's something to be said about that. Maybe a bit of the poverty brings the status of Mississippi down a bit. But for this Capitol building, I mean, it looks so grand. Very decorated, ornate. So maybe Mississippi's trying to deliver a message with this, saying, hey, we're not as far behind as all you other states. I mean, for one thing, Mississippi was the state where the first lung transplant was done. So you can take that to the bank, everyone. Mississippi is a little bit more advanced than you might think. Just go to Jackson right here and you will find that between all the beauty of this state capitol building and then just the atmosphere of a very commercial, business-oriented city, you're not gonna feel like you're in the deep south here. You're gonna feel like you're in any ordinary city. So just to clear up any confusion, this is the modern, current state capitol building. The one I introduced you all to at the beginning of the video, that was the old state capitol building. Let's go inside. Let's see what the interior is all about here at the Mississippi State Capitol building. All right, everyone, we are past the metal detectors and in the Mississippi State Capitol building. And this might be the first building that at least I've observed, which has like a little lounge area. Very nice.
There's only 3 million people in the whole state.
Only 3 million. Oh, wow.
And so, like for us, a congressional district is a fourth of the state.
Oh, only 4 congressional
That's
districts?
all we have is 4 representatives.
Really?
And so, and I didn't think about this, because I've been studying politics, not like the Republican Democrat, but like the Constitution and all that kind of stuff. And somebody was in there and they were from Pennsylvania, and they got to talking about representatives. And they mentioned something about the kooks from the big, name some big city or whatever. And they made, once I saw it, it's like in New York, a congressional district might be that big.
Yeah,
there's
it's very small.
750,000 people in that little
Exactly.
area.
It's all about population.
Yeah.
All over the world, yeah. What would you say is like the friendliness level of Jackson? It's a city, but it's in the deep south. So what would you say?
Well, I think it just depends who you run into, because generally southern people. Now, sometimes you got to be mindful. If you get out in real rural areas and you have what you would call long hair,
Yeah.
you may get looked at if it's a little dinky place. Now, if you were tore down on the side of the road in that little dinky place, they might look at you, but somebody's going to stop and help you, most likely. Now, Jackson is urban enough that it probably doesn't quite have the small town flair as a town. But I think you'll find that people everywhere you go are generally friendly. If you come off friendly, you're going to get it back.
Right, it's all about how you present yourself.
And I mean, I think people here, see, Mississippi's kind of to me, it's a little nugget of paradise that, the reputation from the 60s and before aside, most people here get along because we don't have, like our rich people and poor people shop at the same places. Typically though, I mean, there's no unwritten rule that, hey, you can't shop here.
Right.
And with the distance, it's not so far away. So we don't have that stark
Class division.
That you run, like in New York, there's parts of New York
of course.
City that there's probably certain people that don't go there.
Absolutely. Very cool. I really appreciate when I can talk to people, and
Oh yeah.
it's very, very nice to talk with someone who knows what they're talking about. Yeah, I'll definitely say this. One of the more lavish, luxurious, expensive-looking buildings that we've seen. Well, there you have it. Mississippi's magnificent state capitol building. A sight to behold on both the outside and the inside. And even more than just sightseeing, inside we get to talk to a local, someone who knows the place well enough to explain it to me, an outsider, a tourist, a foreigner. But I guess there's a little insight into Mississippi and its culture. Jackson, Mississippi wholeheartedly deserves a bit of a showcase tour of the downtown area. We've really only seen the 2 state capitol buildings, so let's see what we can find in the downtown area of Jackson.
Record shop.
First record shop. I know Mississippi's known for blues, but
This is Fair Street. This was all started.
all started. Wow.
Yep. Fair. Yep. All first. That's where a lot of them professional. There's a theater on the end down there. That's a theater. I forgot what this was, but I know this was the first record shop. And this here been here. This Frank Jones. Everybody know about Frank Jones. Live band every Friday and Saturday. Blues, number blues.
Really?
Live band, yo.
Wow.
I clean up for them. That's why I'm back there now cleaning up. Fresh stuff across there, but you got Big Apple down there that sell pig ear sandwiches, sausage
I
sandwiches.
was looking for that, yeah.
Oh, it's right down. I'll show it to you. It's right down there.
Wonderful.
Yep. The first record. Let me tell you, right there.
In the country.
Right here. Let me tell you. Read that.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So this is where the first blues artists
Yep,
really made their
Sunboy.
mark.
Yeah, we open at 10. We're the only club in Jackson that doesn't close until 4.
I see.
That can close until 4. Everybody else got to close at 2. This theater, the Alamo Theater, so many people sung here, professional people sung here.
This
Yep.
is so cool.
Still open.
It's still open today.
It's done Georgia Moore. Still open today. They just had something this weekend. I don't know what it was.
This is like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but for blues.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Exactly. I mean, I appreciate it.
Well, nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like a pig ear sandwich. Now that was phenomenal. It's almost like we were taken back in time to a different age in American history. That Fair Street is a very, very historic place, and shout out to Slim for guiding me through that little narrow street full of history. The place we visited was the Big Apple Inn, also a place that could be considered just like a little hole-in-the-wall area, but it has played a key role in American history. That Big Apple Inn that we went inside was the exact restaurant in which key civil rights leaders would meet up, congregate, and not only eat some nice food, but plan and deliberate strategies to help the civil rights movement. Now, what did we get from the Big Apple Inn? Which has nothing to do with the Big Apple, New York City. We are in Jackson, Mississippi, but what did we get here? Well, so much for that. I'll pick that up soon. But anyway, this is a pig ear sandwich. Yes, you heard me correctly. Pig ear sandwich. Now, the South is known for their signature style of food, and when it comes to soul food, there's a lot of stuff that us Northerners would find a little bit questionable, like pig ears in a sandwich. I'm actually a little bit nervous. This is probably an exotic item that I wouldn't really prefer to try every day, but from what I was told, it's a really tasty sandwich, and at the same time, there's that exhilaration that comes with a little bit of risk. That's what we do here on the Coverage Project. We risk a little. We go outside the box. So here we are in Jackson, Mississippi, trying a pig ear sandwich. And get this, it's less than $2. It's unbelievable. I would expect something like this to cost $4, $5, $6, but hey, that's a really nice bargain when you come to the Big Apple Inn. Oh my goodness, it is literally a pig ear. Well, let's get this done. Let's try ourselves a pig ear sandwich. Oh my goodness, it is actually quite amazing. Between the spices that were put in there and the mustard and just the pig ear itself, it's a bit chewy, but you know, it's a pig ear. What else are you gonna expect? All in all, it's a pretty tasty sandwich. I actually have to get another bite. I'm serious, it's good. I'm not trying to overhype this. This is very nice. Like I said yesterday in Natchez, Mississippi is a very underrated state in terms of travel. People aren't gonna say, wow, you know where I wanna go to? Mississippi. People have their stereotypes and impressions of the state to a point where they're not willing to take the chance and actually go here. Well, we on the Coverage Project actually are going to Mississippi. Right here in the capital of Jackson, we had a great day. Not only is Jackson a city full of history and culture that is pretty evident and obvious to see when you walk around, it's also a very, very friendly city. From our point of view, we met 2 people and had great conversations. That doesn't really happen too often. Aren't we grateful that we went to Jackson? This video is running a little bit long, plus it's getting a bit late. I don't know if you can see the clock tower over there, but it's almost 6. I don't usually stay in the places that long or that late. So let's close it off here. We had a great, eventful day sitting right here in Smith Park in the middle of the downtown area of Jackson, Mississippi, capital of the Magnolia State. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.